We are starting 10.3, which is volume of prisms, which means that our learning goal is that I can find the volume of prisms. Before we get started, I want you to do the warm-up. So do number 1 and 2. The formula for this is surface area equals 2 times the radius times pi times height plus 2 times pi times r squared. And then remember the lateral surface area is just that beginning of our equation, which is 2 times the radius times pi times your height. And so you're going to use those two formulas to do the warm-up and then check your answer with mine. For number 1, we need to find the area of the circles. And so we use this part of the equation as the area of our circles. And so we have 2 times pi times r squared. So that's 2 times 3.14 times 7, because that's our radius. And then we do times 7 again because of this little exponent's telling us to do it twice. And we get 307 and 72 hundredths. Then we need to find the area. And the reason we had to multiply it by 2 is because there's 2 circles. So that's the area of both the circles, just to clarify. Then we need to find the area of the middle side of the soda can, the outside part of that soda can. And so that is 2 times our radius times pi times our height. And so we have 2 times 7 times 3.14 times 5, because that's our height. And that's 219 and 8 tenths. And so we're going to add up these two numbers that we just found. And when we do, we get 527 and 52 hundredths. And this is going to be feet squared. Then for number 2, it tells us just to find the lateral surface area. And so that's just the distance around the can. So we don't care about the circles. We don't want to find the area of the circles. So this is 2 times pi times r times height. So we have 2 times 3.14 times 4, because that's our radius, times 9, because that's our height. Think of it as us drawing the soda can standing upwards. And so we get 226 and 8 hundredths. All right, so now starting that our next topic, which is 10.3, we're finding the volume. So volume is if we were to fill up the box. So like for this one, think of it like a box. If we were to fill it all the way up, how much of that product can fit inside the box. So we have the volume of a prism is the product of the area of the base and the height of the prism. So remember, product means that we are multiplying. And so our formula is our volume equals the area of the base times the height. So for number 1, we need to find first our base. And so we're going to find the area of the base. So we are going to find the area of the bottom rectangle in this case, because it's a rectangular prism. So we have 6 times 8, which is 48. And then we're going to take 48 times the height. And our height is 15. So 48 times 15 is 720. And with volume, we do yards cubed. So because there's 3 things that we had to multiply, so we are going to have a little floating 3 up here because there's 3 times we see the word the unit yards. And that's just our answer. So that's all that we have to do for volume. So now you're going to give this a try. So just kind of a hint on number 2, we take that, even though it's slanted, they give us still the side length that we need to use to multiply to find our area. So you take the height of the slant, so that's 5 centimeters, times our length, which is 8.5. That's how you'll find the area of the base, and then multiply that by the height. So you're going to try this one on your own, and then you're going to check your answer with mine. All right, so number 1. So first we're going to find the area of the base. So that's this little rectangle, or this, in this case, it's a square at the bottom. And so we have a length and a width of 4. So 4 times 4 is 16. And then the reason we use a capital B here is because we already found the area of the base. So we do the base that we just found, which is 16, times our height. So 16 times 4 is 64. And then we add our labels on there, which is 64 feet cubed. And that's our answer. So all you're doing is multiplying the bottom to find the bottom of the base, and then multiplying that by the height. So number 2, the base, which happens to be the same as the top. So whatever's down here is also the same as what's up here. So in this case, they just gave us the top, which is totally fine. And so we do 5 times 8.5, and we get 42.5. And then we're going to multiply that times the height, which is 6. And so we get 255 centimeters cubed. So this one's not too bad. So for the volume of a prism, and this is a triangular prism, you need to know that the base is always considered the triangle. So I purposely gave you this one so that way you could see that they just put it, they have it stand like sitting on its side. What it really is supposed to look like is this. So it's supposed to be, well, only drawn better, but it's supposed to be the triangles on the top and the bottom. It's just fallen over to the side. So whenever you think of the area of the base, you need to think of the triangle, because the triangle will be a triangle all the way around, no matter where you are. So there's always like a triangle in there. If you did the area of the rectangle, what you're doing then when you multiply by the height is finding that box, and that's not correct. That's what we just did. So if there's a triangle involved in a prism, you have to think of that as the base. So our base, remember, with a triangle, and a triangle is 1/2 the base times the height, or think of it as base times your height divided by 2. So what we're going to do is take our base of the triangle, so that's why we're using a lowercase b. So the base of the triangle is 5.5 times our height of our triangle, which is 2. And then we have to divide by 2 because a triangle is half of a rectangle. And so if we just did base times height, well, then we just found the area of the whole rectangle. We don't want the area of the whole rectangle. We only want the triangle. So we have 5.5 times 2 divided by 2 is 5.5. And then now we're going to multiply that times our height. And now our height is sideways because it's laying on its side. Remember, if we stood it up, our 4 would be over here. So we're going to do 5.5 times 4, because volume equals base area times the height. And so 5.5 times 4 is 22. And this will be inches cubed. So you're going to give this one a try. Remember that the triangle is your base, so you need to find the base area first of the triangle and then multiply by the height. And then once you're done, you're going to check your answer with mine. Okay, so our base triangle is base times height divided by 2. So we're only looking at the triangle. So the base of the triangle is 12, and the height of the triangle is 5. So we're going to do 5 times 12, and we get 60, and then divide by 2, and you get 30 for that triangle. Then you're going to multiply that times the height. So 30 times our height of 9, because remember, it's actually seated, it should look like this. So our height should actually be 9 if we stood this up. Looks like a 7. Anyway, so 30 times 9 is 270 meters cubed. And so that's our answer. So now you're going to go to your big ideas and you're going to start your homework.